questions flying left to right. People tired, losing track. No one's got your back, but now you do. Sensei's got you. That's the Sensay. Knows what to say. Talks like a human. Works night and day. That's the Sensay. Saves your day. Built for the future. Here to slay. No more bots that loop and freeze. No more reps begging please. Sensei smart, it knows the play. Chatbots powered the real way. You don't need more crew, cause Sensei's true. That's the Sensei. Knows what to say. Answers in seconds. Leads don't stray. That's the Sensei. Saves your day. Fuel it with Sensei. On your way. Knowledge lives, all forever stored. Every lead, every call, Sensei scores. That's the Sensei. Rush away. Work gets done while you sleep all day. That's the Sensei. Leaves don't delay. Eye with heart, that's Sensei. Hey. You got a team working day and night. Questions flying left to right.
Gotta love how the song only just quite makes it up to the 2-minute mark. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining this week's Sensay Community Call. I am Dan Thompson, the CEO here at Sensay, and it's always my pleasure to get on a call with everyone and give you the latest updates about who we are and what we're building. For anyone who's new, Sensay builds these hyper-personalized chatbots that are used as sales agents, as customer support bots, and also for community management and engagement. It takes just a few minutes to create a chatbot on our site, and you can have it deployed onto your website, into your Telegram groups or Discord groups in your style, whether that's as your CEO or as your lead salesperson, or it could be something as simple as creating something as a character or a mascot or something that represents you or your company for your own media and client interactions. So as always, I'll be joined by a couple of guests today. And please do ask your questions, whether you're watching on LinkedIn or YouTube, Twitter, or if you want to just pop questions into Telegram or Discord, we will bring up some of the questions at the end of the call today. So please, ask away anything that you would like to ask us personally or about the company, about progress, about pretty much anything, and we will get to as many as we can towards the end. So thank you for joining today. We've got some great updates to come through, and it's going to be a great call. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up regular faces and team members. So today we've got Lars, the head of community, who's recently migrated over to the Philippines, and Adam, who is one of our tech leads. So I'll let you both give a proper introduction to yourselves, and we'll go from there.
Thanks, Dan. It is great to be back. I wasn't able to make last week as I was stuck in Romania, and this week I'm literally sitting in the middle of a jungle in a wooden house where the internet comes and goes at once like the electricity. It is great to be back and being here with everyone, and it's great to always be with the community and everybody we work with. And today with Adam, welcome. Please, you take the stage.
Oh, thank you. Glad to be here. So I'm Adam. I'm a developer. I work mostly with the website and the chat widget, and excited to be here today.
That's great. And Lars, so I mean, you're gonna have to give us a little bit more detail about this jungle in this cabin in the woods. Where can we find you?
I'm in Sikihor right now. It's the whole island is volcanic, filled with natural springs. Because I'm on the phone today, you can literally hear all the cascades and geckos outside. My roommates are literally geckos right now.
That's great. And Lars, so I mean, you're gonna have to give us a little bit more detail about this jungle in the cabin in the woods. Where can we find you?
It's the whole island is volcanic, filled with natural springs. Because I'm on the phone today, you can literally hear all the cascades and geckos outside. My roommates are literally geckos right now.
Well, I mean, it looks great, and yeah, I mean, this is, I guess, one of the things we're probably going to chat a bit about today is that our team culture is a lot based around is a fully remote team. So our team has the flexibility to work from anywhere, which even includes some places like the Philippines with not the best internet. So it's great to have the team working all around. And actually, I guess this is a good time to sort of move into chatting with Adam, really. But obviously you've both been with us for, I mean, over a year now, and in that time we've had a chance to do 3 team offsites as a part of working remote. I mean, so you both had regular jobs before, working in offices and whatnot. What do you both find is the biggest change between, or the biggest benefit of remote working, and also how do you stay disciplined, especially when you are moving around a bit to work from wherever you're working from?
Should I go
Go ahead,
first?
Adam.
Yeah. So I have been working remotely before Sensei, and I have to say at first it was difficult to get used to it, or like in some ways it was easy to get used to it because you're just at home and you are kind of saving time on driving to your office and whatnot. But on the other side of yeah, like in other ways it's difficult because you are not under eyes of other people. You are kind of in the comfort of your home, so you have to really um, stay motivated to do your job. And I mean, honestly, at Sensei, it's pretty easy because the company is well, we have a great team, great people, and it's motivating when you see the other people working hard. You kind of want to work hard as well and do well, and it's yeah, very interesting product. So yeah, what was the other part of the question? I'm pretty sure I missed something.
Yeah, it is more about that. It's like, if you are working remote, how do you find the discipline? Obviously, if you're working from home or from, um, I mean, my life, as you can see, is mostly in hotels. But you know, as you are working remotely, like, how do you find the discipline to, get up and make sure you pull the hours and actually do the work?
Um, I yeah, I enjoy the work. I think that's the biggest help. That it's not like some boring product or something. Like I'm working with AI. I'm learning from. It's like we are trying to be on the top of the industry. So there's new stuff every month. Some new thing that's new in the AI world, which we want to adopt, and it keeps it exciting. It keeps work fun, and also on in other ways. I have to change positions of where I sit. I don't want to stay necessarily at my desk. I go to my balcony and then to some other room. It keeps it kind of fresh, and yeah, I mean, I guess that's it.
And Lars, what about you? Because you're, seemingly online 24/7. You barely seem to ever sleep, and as far as I can tell, even this year you've been to like 10 different
Well,
countries
it's
already.
been a lot this
Um,
year actually. Hosting stages in 2 different countries at events, got that opportunity. Uh, and then afterwards we went to Siberia and had like 10 days at home in Denmark for once. Also, I've been like out of Denmark since March almost, and home like about 15, 20 days in total. It is a lot different for me compared to before this. I had a business. I worked a 9 to 5, down the shop, down to everybody, home, back and forth. And before that, well, you could say I was working kind of remotely, working on cruise ships. We had a different view every morning, even though the office was the same and never changed.
I don't think that one counts, but but definitely for the last few months. So how do you stay on top of things? How do you stay on top of your work when you are moving around so much?
I try as much as I can. The most thing is when the internet goes. When hit a country, like I found out Albania and Serbia had to have separate SIM cards, where normally I have like free data in the countries I go to through my subscription. And then, of course, sometimes you have the Wi-Fi, and depending on the country, the area, and everything, it comes and goes. But the lovely thing is, I can always keep on top of my work because I try to keep as much as possible inside the chat. Always keeping active, following up on everybody, and doing the small bits and pieces we can do in the back. I did miss community call 2 times because of all of it. Because I had actually, like, what was it, like 3, 4 weeks ago? I planned to surprise everybody on the top of a mountaintop down in Albania. We hit the top. I had 4G. Moved 2 steps. Internet was gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's that's one of the biggest issues I've had, and I've got better. I mean, I'd obviously been on the road for 5 years, so for me it was always, when as soon as I got somewhere, if the internet wasn't good enough to be able to work, unfortunately, it would usually mean that I would have to move on quickly to find somewhere that did. And there's, sometimes there are tips and tricks, and now with things like the mini Starlink and stuff like that, it makes it a lot better for a lot of people to have access to internet in some of the tougher locations. But yeah, even when I was traveling around, there was some places I remember that I just had to move on from so fast because the internet was just not strong enough, and it's never quite where you expect either. That's always the funniest thing. It's never places that you think would have decent internet, obviously, and then it just hits you, and you're just like, oh, crap, got to keep moving on. And it's a bit easier when you are fully sort of nomading, because it's you can just change your location, you can just move on, you can go find somewhere else, or you can easily sort of get around. But it is that, in the early days of getting used to that and then adapting to that is a challenge. So now when people say, oh, how do you work from airports and planes and stuff like that, I'm like, well, it's just a habit. I'm just used to it. I get on a plane, and the first thing, the easiest thing for me is to get some work done when I'm on a plane, because there's no distractions, there's no messaging coming through. So it's a great time for me to actually catch up with a lot of stuff and get a lot of things done, and actually really plan things out, and actually build some of the strategies that I don't get enough time to in the day to day, because I'm so inundated with messages on all platforms, and just essentially working to unblock everyone. Like my day becomes so much of going around to like unblock someone, or pay for this, or fix something for people, that I don't get until I'm actually on a plane. That's the time where I actually have a chance to catch up on the fun stuff of my job. So it just, I guess, it just becomes a habit when you do it for a while. I think the big difference is when you change from a 9 to 5 in an office to going remote, or to when you are traveling, or you are moving around. That's when it is difficult to find a rhythm and routine, and also just the discipline to do stuff, because if you are in a new place, you want to go explore, you want to go enjoy it, you want to go to the bars, the restaurants, you want to go do the activities. You want to go to the jungle cabins and have geckos for roommates. So yeah, I always loved it. I thought it was great fun to do it, and I actually see it as the kind of other way around. I actually use the travel to stop myself from working too much, because if I'm moving around, at least there's, I want to go out and see things and do things. Whereas otherwise I would sit at a computer 15 hours a day and never see anyone or do anything. So there's both sides of it. But thank you, Lars. That's great. We're going to just chat to Adam about some of the more recent updates.
Exactly.
in Sensay.
See you guys later.
So see you in a bit for community questions. So Adam, you've been with us for how long now?
It's going to be a year at the end of this month.
Wow, coming up for the big anniversary. Fantastic. And we had you on one of these before. We talked about some of the things you've been working on for the first few months, but what have you been working on, I guess, most recently? We've had quite a few updates in the last couple of months, and you're leading on with the website team and making sure that everything to do with the website and chatbot are up to scratch. But what specifically have you been working on for the last few months, and what are you working on now?
Yeah, sure. So we've been working on one of the things was conversation history, which is kind of a tool for the owners of the replica to see what other people are chatting about with the replica, and it's a tool for the owners to to get insight into how the replica behaves and essentially how to make it better. And then in kind of a similar vein was a project for analytics, where we have added to the studio a new page which shows you the usage statistics of the replica. So how many conversations were made with the replica in the last 30 days, and what different sources were used to chat with the replica. So whether you can see whether most of the conversations were coming from either the web, Sensay.io, or from the widget on some website, or from Discord or Telegram or whatever. So yeah, just good for getting insight about how your replica is used. And now, most recently, we are still working on this. It's the knowledge base UI. So we had a big changes happening on the API side, where it's a big change of the structural the structure of the API, and basically we now have to implement this on the UI side. So you are going to have one nice interface for managing the knowledge of your replica. So you will be able to drag and drop files, links, text, whatever, into one box, one place. And on the same page, you will also be able to see all the knowledge that's already in your replica. And this is good because until now we had the knowledge scattered all across the studio. If you want to see what files the replica has, you had to go into one page. Then if you want to see the links, you have to go into another page. And now it's all nice in one place. You can add, remove, and see all the knowledge base entries on one page. So it's great unification. And along with it, we're also doing a redesign of the studio. So these two will go together really nicely. And I'm excited for it because the studio really needs a facelift, I think.
Yeah, I'm glad you're excited, because it sounds like, some people might be listening thinking, oh, that doesn't sound like so much, but I mean, this is a lot of work. This is a lot of changes and improvements, and just making sure everything is better, because we start from quite a broad spectrum of things, and we're really having to focus it down and understand how people use the platform, both in terms of the website itself, to the actual replica creation, to the knowledge base, and how you can interact with that as a user. And there's a lot that goes into that. And I think you guys do a great job to stay on top of all the requests, because I think we have a bad tendency to just keep throwing more and more onto the plate to to get done. So I'm glad you're still enjoying it, glad you're still excited by it, because there's definitely a lot of work to be done there. And with that, I mean, you guys obviously have a really great team, but we've had our recent team offsite, and as a part of that, one of the goals for us was to use a lot of AI in the actual development work. Maybe it'd be good to understand how you and the team are actually leveraging AI to help you with that massive workload day to day.
Yeah. So the offsite was very productive, I think, in this way that I learned, and I think many of us learned from our colleagues about better ways to leverage AI in our work. So until then, I was mostly using Cursor, which is cool, which is great. But lately I switched to Claude Code. It's a CLI tool. It's kind of similar to Cursor, but it's I think more powerful, because Cursor does some compression of the files that you are working with. And Claude Code is somewhat more expensive, but it does a better job most of the time. And we've also set up some new workflows so that the AI can help us more easily. For example, when you finish some part of work and you put it up on GitHub for your colleagues to review it, we now have AI automatically review it as well, and it points out if there is anything wrong or if anything is missing, and we are finding it very helpful. It's pretty cool. Like, it's exciting, when you when your job is suddenly easier because of some new thing that you add. So yeah, I mean, that's been pretty exciting recently, and I do feel like I've been using AI more. That's kind of the thing that we talked about on the offside, right? Like, we want to use AI 80% of the time for to produce 80% of the code. And yeah, I feel like I've been getting closer to it and feel pretty productive.
Nice. And so yeah, just to kind of go over that a little bit in more depth. So out of all the developer tools that are available, so there's Cursor, Windsurf, Claude Code, there's I guess Copilot, and then just straight ChatGPT and Gemini as well, and probably a few others I'm not even thinking about, like Bolt and Lovable and all those. You would say, from development perspective and from the team perspective, that Claude Code is the best one out there right now?
Yeah, I would say yes. So you can use different tools for different purposes, but for working with large code bases, you need an IDE, which is like the interface where you do the coding. So that leaves you with Cursor, Windsurf, or VS Code plus Claude Code. They are, yeah.
And have you had much of a chance to try Google Clear yet?
Not really. So, but we were talking internally about it, and basically, what we came to is that
I call it Clear, but it's
Yeah.
CLI, obviously. Sorry, that's my bad. Carry on.
Yeah, so Gemini is it has a huge context, so it's good for when you're searching your code base, or when you want to make a big list. You make it search the whole code base and find all instances of certain thing, but it's not as smart as Claude. So what you can do is use Gemini to find stuff, and then you use Claude to actually use that found stuff to change the code. So yeah, you can kind of leverage both. So that's something that we want to be looking into.
And where do you think that all of this AI coding tools are going to end up? Like, what do you see as the future for development using AI? Like, how do you think it is just going to go purely into, I guess, natural language? Do you think that there will still be a need to like learn and understand code going forward, or obviously there is still for now, but where do you think this is all going to go in the future?
So right now it's kind of about prompting correctly and thinking about what the AI is, how the AI is going to understand. So you're trying to be very clear in your prompt, and you don't necessarily need to understand all the code, but then you're at the risk that you don't really know you don't know what you're doing. Like, you still need some expertise to know what's good and what's bad, because if you just let the AI run wild, then the code will work for a while, but it will break down after some time if you don't have a correct setup, and if you don't correct it when it does something that's not just not good, or yeah. And
so mostly prompt engineering, mostly natural language, and understanding how the AI operates itself. But it's best to have that coding awareness and understanding so that you can help the AI to help you by identifying what's actually wrong with it.
Yeah. And also, like, the AI tends to be like, it does what you tell it, even if it's not a good idea. So it's good to talk to the AI first before you tell it to make changes. So, like, evaluate the current solution, suggest the changes, and then yeah, it's kind of an iterative thing, and it's a separate skill. You have to learn to work with the AI. It's not just it's not so simple always.
Do you think there'll come a time where people, I guess, lose that insight when they've got AI that can essentially just build something from scratch, and you have this like one idea, but if you don't understand the process to actually build something, like let's say you're building an app that would require a payment platform, and you would require different structures to be put in place. If you didn't know those structures and those features need to be implemented, do you think that that's a skill that's going to be lost in people the more they use AI, the more they rely on AI? Because maybe AI will have certain biases where you kind of just forget stuff. And we see it happening in language and content already, where people have already adapted the way they write because AI has a certain way of writing things. And so that's becoming more normal to see it across the board. And people may be getting used to it. So maybe they forget proper writing structure, or they just don't bother to even learn writing structure anymore. Do you think that's going to happen with coding as well?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's if you get too used to vibe coding, if somebody takes that away from you or you just stop for some reason, it can be a shock because you are so used to the AI doing stuff for you. So
Yeah, it's a crazy, like, obviously it's mad how fast this is all developing. But so if you had any advice for someone starting out today, what would you, in terms of software engineering, what would you do? What would you say?
it's good to understand at least the fundamentals of programming. So use AI. I mean, AI is a great teacher. So if you ask it how this stuff works, it will be very happy to answer you very thoroughly. So yeah, use AI to educate yourself about fundamentals of software engineering. And yeah, I mean, in today's world, it's kind of difficult. I don't know. If I would be a new developer, I would definitely lean into AI. Like I would use it to do the coding, but you kind of still need to understand what it's doing because you'll get lost otherwise.
This is definitely true. I mean, my coding skills are very low, and when I then start building something, it does inevitably break, and then you try and fix it using AI, and it ends up breaking three other things just trying to fix one. So there's definitely a benefit, and to having that understanding, to having an idea of the code structure, and just essentially how to actually write the code to begin with, so you can help spot the mistakes and understand where it's going wrong to get the results that you do want. I think it is a fascinating space. Like, I think it's going to see so much change and evolution, and I think it levels the playing fields as well. At the one end, you've got these crazy high sums of money being paid to the AI guys working for OpenAI, and have now been moved over to Meta. I mean, it's crazy amount of money, like $300 million bonuses and stuff like that. Crazy salaries at one end, but at the other end, you've got this opportunity for people who don't necessarily have any coding experience, who maybe just have an idea or just a creative, to go and create something using tech that they just wouldn't be able to, or would have to outsource, or would cost them quite a lot of money normally. And so the range is still there, I guess, in terms of, like, where you find specialist skills. But it's yeah, I guess the whole landscape and industry is just going to evolve and change so much into what people actually require software developers for.
Yeah.
I don't think there's really a question in there. I think it's more of a review. But I mean, I don't know if you've been following much about that story about Meta hiring the OpenAI
Yeah, I heard
engineers.
about it. Like they were offering 100 millions to switch company, which seems, I don't know, seems insane. I was like, what? Yeah.
So it's a big bet. I think there's great examples of that in the past as well. I think there's BlackBerry was famous for doing something like that, where they went and offered 10 million pay packages like 20 years ago to Google employees, just to get some of the best people to come over from Google. So it's got precedent, especially in Silicon Valley. and it does work. BlackBerry were very successful at doing that at the time. Obviously, they made some other mistakes later on, which cost them everything. But yeah, I mean, for certain specialist skill set at the cutting edge of the technology, I think that there's always going to be stories like that, and maybe social media blows it out of proportion. Maybe they're not getting it quite that much because, I mean, that's more than I think the meme I saw was one guy who got brought over as like one of the AI engineers to Meta is getting paid the same amount as Ronaldo, right, from the football side. So there's massive comparisons about how much money they can take home in a year relative to these incredibly famous people, just for being, software engineers at that kind of level.
Yeah, I kind of am a bit skeptical to these stories. I think they take it out of context a little bit. I kind of assumed that what actually happened was that 100 million was offered in total to like many people. Like not one individual guy received 100 million, but they tried to hire 100 people, and if you sum up all those sums, it's 100 mil.
Yeah, and then the other end of software engineering right now, you've got it's quite famous in Silicon Valley right now about this guy called Soham, right, who's been working for many of the Y Combinator startups, who's working 4 or 5 jobs at a time, maybe up to 10, with 15 applications in for other ones at the same time, earning the job, doing the minimal amount of work, and getting paid these 4 to 10 salaries, and that's actually quite a common thing in the tech space. I don't know if you know anyone who does that. I don't know if I think I've met 1 or 2. I know Marco, our CTO, knows 2 people who do it, and I think that's quite a. I mean, to be fair, it's probably what I would do if I was a software engineer. But it's mad. It's mad that we don't really have that in our company, because obviously, as you said, like, it's fun, so we can see who's contributing because it's exciting, and if people aren't really pulling their weight, we notice quite quick, because we can tell who's really contributing and who's there as part of our teams. But it's I can imagine, I mean, we've got a few people who came over from big companies, and who were doing the software engineering job at these big companies, where they might write 1 line of code a day. And so you can imagine that if they're getting paid a decent salary for that they could easily do 4 of those at the same time without too much effort.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if you know too many people who do the same thing, or if
I don't, because I don't like corporate jobs. I never really worked in one. I work in startups always, and in startup you cannot afford to like not do the job, because everybody's going to notice, right? Because it's a small company.
Well, that's it. Maybe we just find some archaic industry. We, some boring industry which still needs software engineers, and we just get AI to do the work for us, and we take 4 different jobs doing the same thing. I mean, that sounds like a good plan B to me. And so, I mean, yeah, I guess one of the last couple of questions for you. What have you got coming up next? What's next on the plates? What are the team working on the next few months? What's sort of the most exciting thing that's coming up?
I wasn't really thinking about too much, to be honest. Like, I don't know exactly what is the order of the next projects. I'm excited about the new studio UI and the knowledge base UI. And I think, yeah, I mean, I'm probably not the person to answer this, but I'm excited. What I'm excited about is working more on the widget and adding more features to the widget, and kind of maybe looking more at the competition and making sure that we are better. I think, because I mean, recently we kind of pivoted to focus more on the chat widgets, and so I think we have a lot of ideas and a lot of stuff to do there. So yeah, I mean, that's what I'm excited about.
Nice. Yeah, it's going to be. We've got quite a lot of fun stuff coming up. Obviously, we've yeah, you're right about the studio update, the new chatbot creation flow. is going to be updated. So the whole process of actually starting with Sensay to actually create a chatbot, have it ready in just literally a few clicks in a few minutes, to then deploying it to a website should be this like seamless, beautiful, enjoyable experience that anyone can do without any code. And I think that's going to be, that's a big step forward for what we've built and how we actually apply it to, real world businesses. So if anyone's interested in that, please do, get in touch. I'm going to use this chance to actually just remind everyone, if you have any questions for us, please do post them on LinkedIn or Twitter or YouTube. We'll see the questions. We'll get to them in a few minutes. And if you are here for some quest points, we have a quest today at sensay.io/quests, where you can earn points for participating in today's call, and points can be converted in Sensay tokens down the road. So if you're getting involved with us more there and want to be a bigger part of the community, want to understand how you can get more involved, that's the way. So if anyone is here who's listening in, watching, and wants to get more involved in Sensay, do check out our quest page so that you can understand where you can earn points to get yourself some additional tokens, which can be converted into tokens or swag. So you can get nice Sensay swag, the hoodies, the t-shirts, the hats, the glasses, the socks, the shorts, everything. I mean, we've got a full-on clothing store at this point. Yeah, just go get yourself some exciting merch as you go anyway. We've got loads of really, really cool stuff. And I guess, Adam, one last question for you as a developer. I mean, what if you really had to like boil down the most exciting developments in AI that you've seen recently? What have been some of the recent like sort of releases or products or anything that you've come across that you enjoy using the most, or that you've just found the most interesting?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much, right? But for me, I guess Cloud Code. Yeah, I mean, they're releasing features all the time, right? So you can now connect Cloud Code to GitHub, which was pretty exciting for us. I mean, it's not maybe a flashy feature, but it does make our lives easier when doing development.
So just the latest sort of updates and just developments in general. So the latest release is getting more and more powerful, and things like Claude Code just getting better at doing the job.
Yeah. Also, I'm getting into MCPs. So like it's kind of like an API for the LLMs, and seeing like what are the coolest way to connect AI to whatever other service, whatever third party integration to the AI. Like for example, connecting a replica to a Shopify store and fetching like what are the products that the Shopify store offers and serving it directly to you in the chat, and stuff like this. Yeah, also embedding visual elements into the chat, so you can so when the API searches the internet or the Shopify store or whatever else, you can render this in the UI in a nice way. And I don't know, for me as a developer, it's kind of cool thing. So yeah, I mean, there's so many developments in AI you can just pick, right?
Yeah, you described MCP as like an API to the LLMs. Would you maybe give a little bit more detail for anyone who's not used to MCPs and some of the latest jargon?
Yeah, it's like current industry standard protocol for the LLMs to access just APIs or like third-party integrations, right? So it's a way to connect AI to the internet, basically, or to your file system or to your camera. I don't know. Well, maybe not camera. That's a bit different, but I don't know, just whatever,
Maybe.
whatever.
So let's the various LLMs and various AIs talk to one another, as well as the different softwares that you use day to day to make it
Yeah,
useful, basically.
exactly.
Nice. Well, Adam, thank you very much for joining today. I think we're going to bring back Lars and get a community update before we jump on some of the questions. So, yeah, guys, if you're listening in, if you've got any questions, please do ask them. We'll get to some of them in just a few minutes. Hello, Lars. Right, what's been going on lately?
Well, I've been sending a lot of coffee pictures for everyone to enjoy in the morning. Well, in morning, it's like more like midnight for everybody else, and 5 in the morning for me. Um, well, we always have a lot of questions coming in through it. We have some very lovely moderators that handles them mostly. And we just got our new little special tracker for OG Sensei. So we have a new tag inside it. So far, we have 2 community members that has received this, the OG Sensei equals question mark, meaning that it is a special one that you just don't get just for anything. It suddenly just appears for you if you did the right thing.
How very mysterious. Do I get one?
You have your own already called
Probably
Team.
not. Yeah, that's true. Nice. All right. So I guess we can. Have there been any particular questions popped up in the community channels before
Well,
we
we
jump
have
on
a
to
few times when
the?
people ask about, well, we have product sales. We have even today, Kay asked us a little bit about the product sales. If it's purchase, does it help grow Sensei? Is it businesses? Is it private people, and so on?
Yeah. Yeah, so the sales you'll see in I believe it's connected to Telegram channel, right? So you can actually see when sales are coming through. So these are direct sales from the platform and subscriptions and regular payments. So you'll be able to keep track of the amount of transactions coming through and the amount of payments that are coming through on different plans, which is great, and it's growing and it's great to see. Obviously, there's more we can be doing there, and so we're working at building out the sales pipeline and our wider brand awareness funnel, and then the actual working on improving the conversions, both by our BD and sales team, but also through the use of AI to improve that funnel as a whole. And that should start to really kick off a flywheel that will really start generating quite a lot of revenues in the near future. And what that means for the project and I guess specifically for the token is good, because we've always plan on hitting a critical mass before we start using a percentage of the income to buy back the token, which will inevitably increase both volume and price. And make a more sustainable flywheel for the amount of tokens that we distribute in rewards relative to the amount that we are buying back ourselves. So that makes the project a lot more sustainable, and actually makes the token increase in value, and the overall awareness of the project increase, and so that kind of really builds some momentum and snowballs, if you will, into a much bigger thing down the line. I think a lot of Web3 projects specifically forget the basic business fundamentals, and so they just try and extract as much value as quick as they can from the communities and from the token, rather than actually building out a viable business in its own right that can then feed back into the token, and the two should work side by side, and quite a nice symbiotic relationship. And that's I guess missed out by a lot of projects, and so it's definitely something that we are working towards as a as a core focus for our team. So it's yeah, and we're always happy to explain that. But yeah, we'll probably get a bit more clarity in terms of the sales and the reports coming out in the next few months. So I guess let's pop on. We haven't got too many questions today, even though there are, I guess, some rewards if you participate in the questions today, and if you are part of our quest. So if you are, then this is the yes, then yes, this is kind of tying exactly into it. So who's going to get the quest reward? So the quest for the is there one reward, or is it everyone gets points for participating
So
and asking
everybody that
questions?
shows a screenshot today and shows screenshot with a question that they asked will get points for the reward in the whole quest segment. Meaning that if they do that for every single one, they can accumulate quite a nice amount of points.
Oh, well, then, so I think we had this question last week while you were away, but someone asked, I think the question was something along the lines of, will community members be rewarded for participating in calls? So the answer is now yes. If you have been here every week and you are asking questions and your question gets pulled up, then yes, you send a screenshot of your question getting pulled up, there will be significant points, which again can be converted in Sensay tokens. And so yes, you can be rewarded for participating in calls. So good. All right, so let's crack on with a couple of questions. I know we haven't got too many today.
Jack Martin is really on it today. So will Sensei boom, Dan? So it's more a question of when, right?
Yes. Yes, tomorrow. Is always my answer. No, I think everyone always, that's the classic, one of the classic questions of when Lambo, when Moon, when Boom, when growth. And we've always been just consistent. We are growing, we are building, we are we are working on improving everything we do all the time. So when it comes to when growing, when exploding, when's going to be that time, time will come whenever the market is ready for it, when the hype's ready, when the situation and the project's ready. But again, to my previous point, we won't get there just by pure speculation. It's a quick way of essentially killing off a project. But we are building and listening to the data, listening to customers to build a more sensible project that could be in its own right a massive B2B Web 2 company, but with a Web 3 element that means we can allocate funds to buying back token and actually redistributing that to the community. And that's a huge difference in terms of the way we're approaching this, because we understand the value of Web3 and then the Web3 community and understand the importance of it. And so by having that in our minds when we're looking at the business growth, we understand that when things do start to take off in a pure and properly organic way, we definitely end up building a flywheel that will just turn into its own monster. As soon as there's more tokens being bought back by us than we're distributing, you have a monthly reduction in supply, as well as a volume and token price increase. So that's when it will boom. So it will be a gradual, and then suddenly it will just take off. But as to when, I mean, tomorrow.
You never know when it happens. It just comes. Sorry, I got a lot of messages dropped in on my phone, so the vibrator slipped it over.
Some strong vibrations. Do we have another question?
Oh yeah, actually, she's one of our oldest community members as well. She even has a professional plan. What's the progress like on Sensei Island?
Good. I mean, it's only it's a few months old as a side project. It's got a lot of press over the last few weeks, which we're super excited about. So we've got featured in Vice and loads of other magazines and travel magazines, and we've been getting lots of inquiries because of this as well. But in terms of the island itself, the AI government is there working through the process to actually develop and build and make a better government. We've got two features to build for it, which is around the idea of having the group chat to have them communicate with each other, to actually share ideas and then vote on something. So that's the next one in terms of the actual AI development for it. And then we basically just start building infrastructure and start building whatever it is that they're actually asking for. But the island is there, the government is there, it started out. We've got thousands of applicants for e-residency already, which is crazy. And it's a really, really, really positive start. So much better than expected. We weren't expecting to get that much press out of it. I was doing it as a fun social experiment, and it's a really nice idea for governments and even big companies to have an advisory board based out of leading figures in industry or politics. And so it makes for a really nice think tank opportunity, and something that we want to share with governments and companies around the world as a concept and something we can build for them if they want to. So progress is good.
And it's also very good for Sensei, especially when you get that press for that island goes over to Sensei, show you the full use case of what we can actually do with our product.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really strong positioning in terms of positioning ourselves as experts in the field and able to create something that is such high quality that can be perceived or even used in this way. So yeah, it's a great thing for us. Do you have any more questions today?
I didn't see any on YouTube. More if we got anything through X or LinkedIn through.
Okay. No, it happens. Quiet day. Maybe people weren't as excited to have you back as we thought, Lars.
Well, I have a feeling they thought I would still have no internet for a proper stream.
Yeah. Well, it's also, I mean, so 4th of July, people has holidays, there's parties, people are just not around. So yeah, this happens as well. So I guess we can wrap up there a bit slightly early today. But I wanted to just say, thank you for everyone who is watching, whether you're watching live or whether you're enjoying the festivities of 4th of July and you will watch a bit later. Thank you, Lars, as always. Thank you to Adam. And if anyone's interested and wants to learn more about Sensay, get involved in our community on Telegram or Discord. Do ask us any questions there. We're always around. And if you would like to get more involved in our quests, we've got our quest platform at sensay.io/quests to earn points and tokens and swag. Or if you just want to learn more about us, go to our social media, which is at Ask Sensay, or find my own one at Sensay Dan, pretty much on any channel. So thank you to everyone for joining today. Thank you for watching, and have a great weekend wherever you are.
See you.
You got a team working day and night, questions flying left to right, people tired, losing track, no one's got your back, but now you do. Sensei's got you. Sensei knows what to say, talks like a human, works night and day. Sensei saves your day, built for the future, here to slay. No more bots that loop and freeze, no more reps begging please. Sensei smart and knows the play, chatbots powered the real way. You don't need more crew, cause Sensei's true. Sensei knows what to say, answers in seconds, leads don't stray. Sensei saves your day, fuel it with Sensei, on your way. Knowledge lives, a forever story. Every lead, every call, Sensei scores.